Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Nate Need.
Welcome to another edition of the SEO.co podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about link building outreach strategies to avoid. Link building outreach is not an exact science, and if you follow the so-called best practices, you still may feel as if your link building isn't working. But in most cases, it's pretty easy to see why. You may not be breaking any rules per se, but you could be using discouraged techniques. And we recommend avoiding the following techniques in your link building outreach campaigns. The first one being, don't target anyone and everyone. Successful link building isn't about the quantity of people you contact, but it's more about the quality of prospects you engage. And it also helps by not targeting anyone and everyone. It also helps conserve your resources. You're going to want to go after niche websites that are both applicable and high authority to your relevant client sites or your own sites. In addition, you do not want to perform blanket outreach. And in the same vein, you want to resist the urge to save time by performing mass spam and outreach to everyone and everyone. It's more effective to personalize your contact and be meticulous about those people and the webmasters you're going to be doing outreach to. You might want to add personal anecdotes, some humor that's applicable to something you may have read on their website, for instance. Don't be selfish. You're obviously looking for backlinks and exposure, but do not come across as being too selfish. Sam on our team is often fond of saying, why don't you take me out to dinner first before I do XYZ? We get a lot of requests on our site to do guest posts, get backlinks from certain pages. And when we get one that's completely one-sided and there's no give and it's all take, it's just not going to happen. Never going to happen. So don't be selfish. Don't overwhelm people. Don't confuse consistent outreach with bombardment of emails. If you put someone on a drip campaign, make sure that drip campaign is short and concise, as well as doesn't drag out too much. If you do that, you may run into GDPR issues, as well as get your own email address flagged as spam if you're doing too much outreach. So keep it to a minimum. There's really no fine rule here, but some people will get annoyed with a single email. Some people, it might take them a few emails, and you just need to be very careful on how you do your outreach and make sure it's not overly onerous. And don't get frustrated or discouraged. The average professional baseball Hall of Famer gets out roughly 70% of the time he walks the plate over the course of his career. In other words, he's successful less than 30% of the time. Link building outreach is going to be very similar, if not even less. You'll get turned down and ignored by way more people than you're embraced. So resist the urge to become discouraged and zoom out and see the big picture. When you're selective with whom you target, you personalize your outreach. You exemplify selflessness, not selfishness, and you're consistent but not overwhelming. You stay encouraged by celebrating the small victories. And good things will eventually come your way as long as you're using sound strategies and techniques. Your time and persistence will produce results. We hope you were enlightened by today's episode of link building outreach strategies to avoid, and we look forward to having you join us for our next episode of the SEO.co podcast.